Good morning folks, how are we doing? What a beautiful, beautiful day it is today. It's a crisp, cold Lancastrian morning and we're going after a few grayling. What more could you want on this earth than grayling fishing in the snow? Albeit the snow has melted a little bit, so it's not fully grayling fishing in the snow. But let's see if we can nab a few. I'll run through the setup, everything that we're doing when I'm on the bank, but a bit of a trek to go first. Well then, here we are, we're on the river, living the bloody dream. I'm just going to run through my setup with you. It's a fairly straightforward setup and I just wanted to show you how easy this type of fishing is. Often or not, you'll see on loads of different videos, loads of different websites, whatever you want to go, they make float fishing and this type of fishing just so complicated. In reality, it's really not. You need a rod, a line, some form of indicator, a bit of weight, a hook and some bait. Realistically, it doesn't really matter how it all goes on. You'll probably catch them because in winter fish are starving. If you find the fish, they're gonna eat it. If you put it in front of them, they're desperate for food. It's hard to find food at this time of year. So the setup, I've got a reel on. I'm using a fixed spool today. This has got 5-pound line on and that's running onto a rod that, to be fair, could be a little bit bigger, but it doesn't really make the end of the world. You don't need to cast far out, just get your rod in the water basically. And the rod we're using is the X5 Adventure from Rigged and Ready. Belting rod, had many happy memories in Florida with this bad boy. If you haven't seen those videos, make sure you check the playlist out. Some phenomenal beasts in there. Anywho, that's running down now to a little float stop, wherever that is. There it is. We've put a little float stop on. So that little float stop, that's to set your depth. That basically means you can move this up and down like that and you can decipher how deep you want your bait in the water. When it's winter like this, you want your bait fairly close to the bottom because the fish are not on the surface whatsoever. Then we've got a float on. Today I'm using a waggler float. There's loads of different trotting floats out there, which I have to admit is a little bit OTT. Don't get me wrong, they do fish a bit better and they look great. But you can pretty much use anything. In reality, I could go get some foil and it'd probably do the job. I'm not even lying with that either. It's literally just there to let you know when there's a bite. And typically when you buy a float, it'll tell you on it, if you can see that there, what type of float it is. This is a Drenham Waggler float. As you can see there, it says 2 grams on it. Basically, it's telling you need to put 2 grams worth of weight for this float to be fishing effectively, which by that, it means just the orange bit is sticking out of the water. Don't overcomplicate it. So basically, when you get your weights, you're gonna put 2 grams on. And here they are. Here are my weights. I could probably have put those a little bit more together, but for some reason for me, I've always just liked to spread them out. Just whack them on the line. It will be fine, I promise you. And these are shot weights. Shot weights are tiny little weights that basically you use for float fishing. You can use them for drop shotting as well if you want or whatever. And they're perfect because you can get really micro size weights and they even go down to like 0.1 grams. They're pretty cool. So cannot recommend these bad boys, they're perfect. And then finally, we've got this little guy. We're fishing a size 12 hook today. I probably couldn't see that, could you, because the camera wasn't focusing. My bad. But we're fishing a size 12 barbless hook, and when you're grayling fishing, it is so important to make sure you use barbless hooks. Grayling are a very delicate fish, and you've got to take every precaution with them. Barbed hooks is just a big no-no. Barbless hooks, if you lose the fish, not the end of the world, but when you do get it on the bank, it's a really easy unhook. Often, grayling can sometimes take the bait all the way down as well if you're not quick enough on your strike. So, with a barbless hook, you're minimising the damage and you can get that hook out quickly and swiftly and get the fish back okay, which in the end of the day is the most important thing. But right, let's get onto the water, let's try and nab a few fish and hopefully we'll get a few fish. Who bloody knows though, it's winter and this could be one of those moments where I just give it all the la-di-da and we catch absolutely bugger all. Could be like that. This is the first swim we're fishing. Very naughty, isn't it? It's a really nice current running on the other side of the bank, which is what we're going to be aiming for. It's not an overly wide river, so easy to cover. The only concern we're going to have is that it is really clear and quite low. So we're going to have to be quite quiet, but I'm hopeful. So the bait we're using today, we're going with the maggots. The classic fisherman's bait. They're not on toast today either. Has anyone done that? I haven't. It sounds minging, but we're gonna throw these in the water before we get fishing. It's gonna make the water teeming with fish. Get them bubbling, get them popping, and hopefully we'll have one on the hook. Big shout out to Paddy and Angling Centre for these bad boys as well. I have to admit, for any live baits, maggots, worms, etc., they're always top notch, and they have a phenomenal lure section. If you're in the area, worth popping in. So what I like to do first, I like to find a run with a bit of flow to start with. The grayling are often in that fast running water, moving into the where it starts to slow up. So as you can see this pool here, it's awesome. You've got the fast running water here, and as you can see, it starts to slow up, and there's this overhanging tree here, which hopefully should be where we start hitting a few fish, I think. There's also a chance of a few chub in there as well, because they're also feeding at this time of year. And we're probably going to stay in this pool probably for about 20 minutes or so and just keep moving. Because in winter, it is all about finding them. Once you find them, 9 out of 10 times, you'll hit the fish. But that is the order of the day, finding them, because you can fish a lot of water with zero here. So keep moving, don't sit around. And also, it's freezing. Why do you want to sit still? Right, let's get your maggot on. When you're putting a maggot on, always thread it through the head. So I've always been taught, keeps them on a bit longer. Sounds a bit grim, but it's got to be done. Don't overthink it, just lob them on. Cast out, and there we go. And actually, that's fishing a little bit too deep. It's not a deep run, this, at all. And hopefully that should be fishing a little bit better. Bingo. So now we've got our depth right. Get it into that flow. Let it go. Don't worry too hard. Oh, is that a fish straight away? Just needs to be in the water. 9 out of 10 times you'll catch one. And hopefully I'll prove that to you today. Now, the one thing that is really difficult about this method is actually striking. Because you've got so much slack line, you do miss a lot of bites, a hell of a lot of bites, which is why you don't want to be casting too far out, and you don't want to be doing too long a trot. You want to keep your trot fairly short, if you can, ideally. Appreciate it doesn't always work like that, but you've got to just do what you can in this cruel world we call fishing. In terms of fishy spots, this is a seriously fishy spot. Just gonna get some maggots in this current, just see if we can drag them out. Oh, that was a nice bite. That was a bite. That was a bite. Something's had a suck on that. Ah. Get it back out there. Mr. Grayling, hit my line. Come on, Mr. Grayling. Does anyone else do that when they cast? Sometimes I just make sound effects. Sound effects that aren't even real. Just can't help myself. Come on. Just go under for me. For me. Mr. Float. Yeah, fish on. Fish on. Yes. I need to start singing more often. Hallelujah. And it's a grayling. It's a beautiful fish, actually. It's a beauty. Sorry for the Scottish accent there, for all the Scottish subbers. Not a massive one, but it is a grayling. And something is stuck. Oh, and it's off. Because my net is stuck on my bag. Are you kidding me, Jeff? Oh, fuming. Fuming. Absolutely fuming. You know what, folks? I love my net. It's class. It's absolutely buzzing. What a nightmare. So sorry. That is bag average fishing, though. You know, I'm not going to be sat here and be perfect. That's not how I roll. All right? Absolute nightmare. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. You'll see my net later on, hopefully. It is a little bit of an old school one, so it doesn't really help. But, we've had a fish on, though, haven't we? Prove the method. Prove the concept. That's how we roll. Right, folks, let's get the float back out there. Come on. Always keep the maggots going in when you're doing this type of fishing. It might get sawdust on your hands and they might smell a bit, but it will be worth it. And if it isn't worth it, then yeah, that's fishing. folks, while I'm having a little break, I thought this would be a great opportunity just to talk to you about this little bad boy. Forecast. You will have seen me wearing this probably for the last few months, and it's a little project between Adventure Fishing UK and I. We were fed up of seeing camo. Camo's grim. Get rid of it. There's no need for it. You're green. I don't get it. Stop wearing camo. It's not necessary, people. All the gear is just not needed. So we've made some funky, quirky, bright coloured fishing clothing with loads of t-shirts, loads of cool funky hat designs and loads of stuff like that. I'd love it if you could go check out www.forecastclothing.com, check out what we've got, and if you really fancy it, go help yourself to a little cheeky number. Would really appreciate it. The great thing is, our gear looks great on the bank, but it also looks great in the pub. So when that special guy or girl comes up to you, you're not gonna look a knobhead when you're wearing your camo. Fishing isn't a turn on, people, remember that. Right, we are down on another swim now. We're fishing this gorgeous run behind me. There's a beautiful viaduct down there as well. There's a lovely flow to this as well. I am really, really hopeful that we're going to catch something today. So we're just wading into this swim just a little bit. Maybe a little bit too much there. Whoopsie doodlies. Let's see if we can just pull something out of here. I am quite hopeful on the sly. It might be a little bit further down today though. Might just have to work my way into this little bit. Fish on, fish on. Yes, yes, that's a nice grayling, I think. Oh, beautiful. I had a feeling something might come in there. Right, let's not balls the net up. It's not a biggie. Oh, it's a trout. Oh, no, 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 no. Out of season. What a shocker. Let's get him unhooked, get him straight back. An out of season trout. It's not what we came for. Let's get him back straight away. Good to see for next year, but is a consequence of fishing for grayling. But hey, oh no, and it's got my flipping, I've got myself in a right little tangle. Oh, Diana, please. Right, let's get back in there and hopefully we don't catch another trout. Hopefully, anyway. I feel like it could end up being a little bit trouty, this. If we catch one more, we're out the swim and we move on, I think. Yeah, fish on, fish on. I think it's a trout though, the way it's fighting. If it is, we're going to be moving on. Just trying to gradually weave him back because I've done the classic. No, it's a grayling. It's a grayling. No, it's a trout. Of course it is. They're dark silver though. That's a lovely colouring on that fish. Lovely colouring. Just gradually get him in. And this is going to be me moving on. It's a nice fish that though. Really nice trout. There he goes, he's off. Beautiful. Joys of barbless hooks. Just moved down ever so slightly. The water's ever so slightly deeper here as well, so there's a little bit of a better flow as well, so hopefully we might nab into some grayling. Fish on, fish on. And it's a grayling! See that jump? This is when it is, turns out it's a trout. No, it's definitely a grayling. Definitely. Beautiful. We just moved down slightly into some slightly deeper water. And there, yeah, it's only a small one. I've got to be so careful. And he's in the net. Oh, beautiful. It's not a big fish, guys, but it is a grayling. You've got to be so delicate with the grayling. They are a very, very delicate fish. And it's a beauty. It's an absolute beauty. And this is a beautiful fish. And this is a male based on that fin. It's not as big as the female fin. It's beautiful, isn't it? What a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful fish. But let's get him back. Let's get him. There we go. Beautiful. No messing. Class. As you can see, folks, it's starting to get really sort of dark. That time of the day now, in December, dark nights, it's miserable, it's crap, we all hate it, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we're on probably the last swim of the day. Hopefully we're going to nail another grayling, fingers crossed. I've baited it up. Let's get fishing, stop the chit chat, more fish, boom, boom, boom. Oh, we're coming to the end of the maggots. And they've almost froze, I think. I think they're in their best form, I'll be honest. folks, it's getting pretty dark now and I'm gonna call it a day. The fishing's been pretty tough, I won't lie to you, but we've had a good day anyway. It's been good being out in the sort of semi-snow and a bit of winter fishing, innit? Sound. Grayling, beautiful. Trout, beautiful, but not the right time of year. That's fishing. Anyway folks, I hope you've enjoyed, and if you have, hit that subscribe button. Tight lines, keep fishing.